Tree, we were talking about Matthews off the top, who he's going to play with, and just his basic, expectation this year. Whether obviously Marner's not going to be there, but he should be healthy and raring to go and be dominant regardless of who's on his line.
I would agree with you. He looks really, really good.
Brad Treliving sent a strong message to Auston Matthews. He called Auston Matthews the player who sets the standard, highlighting his health and sharp form at camp. The statement was made just days before the first puck drops. It leaves an open question. Why deliver such a pointed message right now?
And
Treliving spoke during an appearance on Sportsnet's The Real Kyper and Bourne show. He explained that Matthews returned early in the summer. The GM described his star center as someone who leads by preparation. Treliving said, with the preparation he puts toward his craft, he sets the standard. These comments carried a clear tone. The GM continued, he has been dialed in since the start of camp. He feels good physically. He looked dangerous on Tuesday in the first preseason game. Matthews had played his first preseason game just days earlier. Treliving's words showed he believed Matthews was healthy and sharp. He added, he is the tip of the spear for us, and everyone else follows. That phrase put Matthews at the very front of the Maple Leafs, leading in effort and output. Treliving concluded with, number one, he is healthy, ready, and looks good. The comments were timely. Last season, Matthews played 67 games due to an upper body injury. Compared to previous years, his availability was limited. The GM's message made clear this season begins differently. Treliving also discussed Matthews' resilience during the difficult months. He explained, he was fighting through some stuff last year, never bitched about it. He just dug in and played. These remarks confirmed that Matthews carried injuries but continued to perform. At camp this year, reports confirmed Matthews arrived weeks earlier than many teammates. Treliving wanted fans and players to notice that effort. He called this early preparation proof of seriousness. He said directly, what he does, his teammates will follow. The GM explained the Leafs are evaluating who will play with Matthews and Matthew Knees on the top line. Some candidates include Max Domi and Matias Maccelli. Treliving said, sometimes it needs a little bit of a different ingredient, whether it's a defensive presence, create loose pucks, create space. He added, it is easy to say, let's go get a top six forward. Well, who is that and what is the cost? His point was that outside trades are not always the best solution. Toronto plans to see if internal players can succeed beside Matthews. Treliving also spoke on goaltending. With Joseph Woll on personal leave, the team must rely on other options. He said Toronto will support Woll, but continue to test replacements during camp. Brad Treliving became Toronto's general manager in 2023 after working with the Calgary Flames. Since arriving, he has managed several key moves, including Marner's departure this summer. His words about Matthews matter because he is the person building the roster. In Calgary, Treliving built around star players. In Toronto, he is applying the same model. By saying Matthews sets the standard, he placed him as the centerpiece of the Maple Leafs' identity. The timeline of the remarks is important. Training camp was only days old. Matthews had just completed his first preseason action against Montreal. Treliving noted his strong play immediately, saying Matthews was dialed in since the start of camp. These words framed him as both ready and effective. Treliving referenced this directly, stating Matthews is now healthy again. Number one, he is healthy, ready, and looks good. That sets a different stage for this year. Treliving's comments defined Matthews as the benchmark. Other players, old and new, will be measured against the preparation and intensity of their captain. Leadership was another key theme. With Marner gone, Treliving publicly identified Matthews as the primary driver of the team. He said, we are a collection of players. I expect him to be driving the group. That was paired with another direct line. What he does, his teammates will follow. These remarks highlighted Matthews' position. His influence extends past his scoring and into the habits of the entire roster. Training camp updates show Matthews skating at full speed without visible issues. Coaches confirmed he looked sharp. Treliving used that evidence to reinforce his claim that Matthews is in strong condition both physically and mentally. The GM also explained his roster strategy. He said internal competition will decide who joins Matthews on the top line. He mentioned players like Domi and Maccelli as options ambitions, but stressed that chemistry often comes from surprising places. He explained, "You don't know where chemistry is going to come from. This trial process will continue during preseason. Matthews' ability to work with different partners will shape the final decision. Toronto's defense and goaltending also remain part of the equation. That puts extra weight on the forwards to score. Matthews' role as top scorer therefore becomes even more critical." Treliving's remarks serve two purposes. They praised Matthews for his preparation and health. They also defined clear expectations. By stating them before the season, he framed Matthews as the leader, the example, and the measure for the Maple Leafs. His words carried no ambiguity. Matthews was called tip of the spear, the standard, and healthy, ready, and good. Each phrase was direct and fact-based. Together, they show exactly how the Leafs will begin their season, following the standard set by Auston Matthews.
Certainly, we approached Mitch to engage him on a contract, as is his right. Mitch and his representative wanted to wait until the year was done, and you know, as it became clearer and clearer to us that that potential may not be there, we tried to look at alternatives, right?
The real reason Mitch Marner left the Toronto Maple Leafs didn't show up in headlines until now. Leaked reports, secret talks, and sudden trades reveal a story that's hard to believe. It's not just about money or stats, it's about what happened behind closed doors and who knew the truth all along. The details are finally out, and they're worse than expected.
You know, I think that the day prior we got offered a trade to go somewhere else. My wife was 7 or 8 months pregnant at the time, and you know, we weren't really going to go somewhere that was maybe just going to be a short stint. If we were going somewhere, we were going to sign for an extension, you know, raise our child there and grow up there. And then we kind of heard that Vegas might be interested in doing a 3-way deal.
On June 30th, 2025, Mitch Marner was traded from the Toronto Maple Leafs to the Vegas Golden Knights. It was part of a sign-and-trade deal. He signed an 8-year, $96 million contract with Toronto. Then they sent him to Vegas. In return, the Leafs got forward Nicholas Roy. At the time, Marner said leaving Toronto was not easy. On Instagram, he posted, "Leaving isn't easy. Wearing the maple leaf on my chest wasn't just about playing for a team. It was about representing my home." Marner had played for Toronto since 2016. He grew up in nearby Markham, Ontario. During his time with the Maple Leafs, Marner played 657 regular season games. He scored 221 goals and gave 520 assists, totaling 741 points. That's one of the best records on the team. Things were different in the playoffs. Marner only had 63 points in 70 playoff games. Many fans and experts said that was not enough, especially for how much money he earned. Just a few days after the trade, more details came out. They changed how people saw Marner's exit. On the Cam and Strick podcast, Ryan Reeves, Marner's former teammate, shared more about the situation. He said fans in Toronto were a little ruthless to Marner. Reeves said, "Mitchie earned the right to go wherever he wants. He's dedicated his whole career to Toronto." Reeves made it clear that the pressure from fans was too much. He said people pointed fingers at Marner every time the team lost. That wasn't the only thing that happened. A report from Strickland said Marner had been thinking about Vegas for over a year. Even when he was still playing for Toronto, he was already talking to teammates about going to the Golden Knights. Some Leafs players knew, some didn't. But the locker room was clearly split. Toronto's general manager, Brad Treliving, has not said much about the trade publicly, but analysts believe he was frustrated. NHL insider Matt Larkin said the Leafs offseason was a massive failure. He said they did not bring in enough new talent to replace Marner. Toronto tried to sign players like Nikolai Ehlers and Brock Boeser. Both signed with other teams. Now, Toronto has about $4.9 million in cap space left, and no one to fill Marner's spot on the top line. Nicholas Roy, the player they got in the trade, had 15 goals and 16 assists last season. He is a good player, but not close to Marner's level. Toronto also signed Matias Maccelli. Still, fans and media say the team looks weaker than before. Some Leafs players may have known Marner was leaving long before it happened. At the end of the season, during the exit interviews, William Nylander was asked how he felt about Marner possibly leaving. He laughed and joked about it, but when he was asked about John Tavares, his tone changed. He became serious. He called Tavares a great leader. The difference in his answers showed something important. Some players might have been fine with Marner going. The most shocking part is what happened with Ryan Reaves. Just 24 hours after he defended Marner and said fans were too hard on him, he was traded. Reaves was talking about Marner at a Vegas Golden Knights event, even though he was still a Toronto Maple Leaf. Some fans and experts say that didn't sit well with Treliving. It looked like Reaves was choosing sides. And in the new Leafs culture, that was not okay. Brad Treliving seems to be building a new kind of team. He wants players who are fully committed to Toronto. No distractions, no drama. The Marner-Reaves situation shows that clearly. Reaves said, "Sometimes fans want to point fingers." And in this case, it looks like the front office did too. Meanwhile, Vegas has added another top player to their already strong roster. Head coach Bruce Cassidy said he's excited to coach Marner. He said Marner's passing and creativity would help the team. Vegas now has stars like Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, and Mitch Marner in one lineup. This could be one of the strongest teams in the league. Some analysts still believe Toronto can be a contender. On TSN's FanDuel Overdrive, Jason Demers said, "You look at Craig Berube and the style he's implemented. You look at defense. You can win a cup without having 100-point goal scorers." That's a strong opinion, but many fans are not convinced. Toronto's offseason moves have left many fans confused and upset. The team has not won a Stanley Cup since 1967. They've had one of the most expensive rosters in the league. But year after year, the results are the same. Early playoff exits. The Maple Leafs culture was already under question. The leak about Marner planning his move to Vegas long in advance only made things worse. It showed a lack of trust and unity inside the team. When a key player is talking about leaving while still wearing the jersey, that creates problems. The exit has also damaged the fan base's trust. Mitch Marner was a local hero. He played for the team he grew up watching. Fans bought his jersey. Kids looked up to him. Now, many of those fans feel betrayed. Patrick Marleau, a former Leaf, once told Marner to chase every dollar. Ryan Reaves told him about all the good things about playing in Vegas. Those conversations happened while Marner was still with the Leafs, and they matter now, because they show how long this plan may have been in place. Toronto's front office had been trying to trade Marner before, but his no-movement clause made it hard. He had the legal right to stay with the team if he wanted to, and he did. At least until now. Once his new contract was ready and the sign and trade became possible, things moved fast. But the signs were there earlier. Locker room tension, playoff frustration, and a team that no longer felt like a team. Ryan Reaves said Mitch earned the contract he got. He poured everything into the Leafs. But some former teammates didn't seem to agree. In Vegas, Marner gets a fresh start. No hometown pressure, no local media storm, just hockey. And for the Maple Leafs, it's a reset, one with more questions than answers. Now, Toronto must face the next season without one of their biggest stars. Their offense will need to find new ways to score. Their locker room will need to find new leaders. And fans will have to decide how they feel about the truth that finally came out. No one knows how this will end, but what's clear now is this. Mitch Marner's exit wasn't just about a trade. It was about pressure, planning, and a locker room that fell apart quietly until now.
As you said, yeah, it's only been a couple days since the season ended. Take some time to regroup, talk to my agent a little bit and family and all that, and make some decisions whenever that time comes, but there's no rush.
Connor McDavid told reporters he wasn't in a rush to talk contracts. Now, weeks later, there's been nothing. With the team in off-season limbo and big names signing elsewhere, McDavid's silence now speaks louder than ever. The Oilers are waiting. The fans are waiting. But the captain still isn't saying anything. McDavid's silence is now a problem, and this silence could change everything for the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid is the captain of the Edmonton Oilers. He is one of the best hockey players in the world. McDavid has played his whole NHL career in Edmonton since the team picked him first in the 2015 NHL Draft. His current contract is an 8-year deal worth $100 million. That deal ends in July 2026. Right now, McDavid still has 1 year left on that contract. He will be allowed to sign a new deal starting on July 1st, 2025. If he does not sign, he becomes a free agent in 2026. That means any team in the league could offer him a deal. But so far, McDavid has not said if he will stay or leave. After the Oilers lost in the 2025 Stanley Cup Final to the Florida Panthers, reporters asked McDavid about his future. He answered, "It's only been a couple days since the season ended. I'm going to take some time to regroup, but there's no rush on anything like that." He also said, "If I feel there's a good window to win here over and over again, then signing is no problem." That was the last time he spoke about it. McDavid's numbers this season were very strong. He had 74 assists in the regular season. He scored 33 points in 22 playoff games. He had 7 goals and 26 assists. His teammate Leon Draisaitl had the same playoff point total, but McDavid still hasn't said what he will do about his contract. The fans don't know. The team doesn't know. Other NHL teams are now watching closely. Stan Bowman is the general manager of the Oilers. He said, "He's the best player in the league, most important player in the league. He's our captain. He's our leader." Bowman said the team's #1 priority is to keep McDavid. He also said the contract talks will happen when McDavid is ready. But NHL free agency is already moving fast. Teams are signing players. The Oilers have to make choices about who to keep, who to sign, and how to build next season's team. But without knowing what McDavid wants, the team can't plan fully. That has caused a problem. If McDavid leaves, it could be a very big problem. The Oilers have made the playoffs 6 years in a row. They made the Stanley Cup Final 2 years in a row, but they lost both times. Some sports writers are saying McDavid might not want to wait much longer. If he doesn't think the team can win soon, he could decide to go somewhere else. Leon Draisaitl, McDavid's teammate and top scorer, signed a new deal last year. That deal is for 8 years and $112 million. If McDavid stays, he will likely make even more. Some reports say McDavid could become the highest paid player in the league. But that would mean the team has less money to spend on other players. If McDavid stays quiet much longer, the Oilers could be forced to trade him. They won't want to lose him in free agency for nothing. That's why some experts are saying the team needs to know soon. One article said McDavid's silence is wrecking the Oilers' free agency plans. Jeff Jackson is the CEO of the Oilers. He also used to be McDavid's agent. He said the next season will help decide everything. The team will wait, but not forever. Other teams, like the Toronto Maple Leafs and Florida Panthers, are already being mentioned as possible new homes for McDavid. Right now, every NHL team is watching. If McDavid doesn't say anything by the start of the season, the rumors will grow. Teams will begin making offers. Fans will keep asking questions. Even McDavid's teammates might start to worry. The Oilers had a record of 48 wins, 29 losses, and 5 overtime losses this past season.